What separates great leaders from everyone else has nothing to do with luck, connections, or being in the right place at the right time. The difference is psychological. Great leaders think differently, see differently, and operate from a fundamentally different mindset than normal people. Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, and Jeff Bezos built three of the most valuable companies in history from completely different industries. Yet, despite their differences, these three legendary leaders share eerily similar psychological traits that explain their extraordinary success. Today we're exploring the hidden psychology of greatness and revealing the 7 psychological traits that all great leaders share. Steve Jobs was a perfectionist, obsessed with details that most people would never notice or care about. He believed that excellence was not negotiable and that quality was the only standard worth pursuing. Jobs famously said, "My job is to not be easy on people. My job is to make them better." This obsession with excellence wasn't just philosophy. It was Jobs' core psychological need. He wanted to create beauty and perfection in products. When Jobs first saw the iPhone prototype, he demanded radical changes, even though the engineers thought it was finished. The engineers had to rebuild the entire device from scratch because Jobs sensed it was not yet perfect. This obsession drove innovation but also created a ruthless, demanding work environment where people either met the standard or left. Elon Musk shares this same obsession with excellence, but he channels it into daring goals that seem impossible to everyone else. While Jobs obsessed over product details, Musk obsesses over building the future itself. Electric vehicles, spacecraft, neural interfaces, colonizing Mars. Musk sets goals so audacious that they seem insane to most people. Make humanity multiplanetary. Accelerate sustainable energy. Merge human and AI intelligence. His obsession with these impossible goals drives his teams to achieve what they thought was impossible. If you're watching this and you're inspired by how these great leaders obsess over excellence and impossible goals, like this video to show that excellence matters. And subscribe, because we're revealing the psychology of greatness and how you can develop these traits yourself. Jeff Bezos shares the same psychological obsession as Jobs and Musk, but his obsession is with customers and long-term thinking. Bezos is obsessed with customer satisfaction, long-term value creation, and continuous innovation. He famously said, "If you double the number of experiments you do per year, you're going to double your inventiveness." This obsession with experimentation and learning from failure drives Amazon's relentless innovation. So the first psychological trait all great leaders share is obsession. They are obsessed with something bigger than themselves. Jobs was obsessed with perfect products. Musk is obsessed with impossible futures. Bezos is obsessed with customer value and innovation. The second trait all three leaders share is an unwillingness to accept conventional wisdom or follow others' opinions. Jobs rejected what customers said they wanted and instead trusted his intuition about what they actually needed. Jobs believed, "Our task is to read things that are not yet on the page, to sense desires that have not yet formed in people's minds." Instead of doing market research, Jobs trusted his gut and created products that customers didn't even know they wanted until he showed them. This required incredible confidence in his own judgment and rejection of conventional business practices. Musk operates the same way. He ignores what experts say is impossible and pursues vision regardless of conventional wisdom. When everyone said electric cars were toys for rich people, Musk built Tesla into the world's most valuable automaker. When everyone said reusable rockets were impossible, Musk made SpaceX land rockets vertically and reused them. Musk is willing to make unpopular decisions, challenge norms, and pursue ideas that conventional wisdom says won't work. Bezos similarly rejects conventional thinking. Amazon started as a bookstore, but Bezos saw it could be everything. He invested in AWS even when it made no sense to investors, and it became Amazon's most profitable business. The psychological trait is confidence in your own judgment, combined with willingness to be contrarian and risk being wrong. The third trait all great leaders share is charisma, the ability to inspire others around their vision. Jobs had charisma that made people want to believe in his vision and work impossibly hard to achieve it. His presentations became legendary because he could communicate his vision in ways that made the future feel possible. Musk has charisma that allows him to rally teams around impossible goals like colonizing Mars. When Musk talks about the future, people believe him and want to be part of making it real. Bezos has charisma in a quieter way. inspiring teams with customer obsession and long-term thinking. All three can communicate their vision in ways that make people want to follow them and achieve extraordinary things. The fourth trait all great leaders share is relentless persistence. They never give up, despite obstacles and setbacks. Jobs was fired from Apple, the company he founded, and instead of quitting, he created Next and Pixar. Years later, he came back to Apple and transformed it into the most valuable company in the world. Musk has experienced countless failures, humiliations, near bankruptcies, and near-death experiences for his companies. Yet he keeps pushing forward with unwavering determination that someday his vision will come true. Bezos had years where Amazon lost money because he prioritized long-term value over short-term profits. Yet he persisted in his vision even when investors criticized him for losing money quarter after quarter. The psychological trait is resilience, the ability to bounce back from failure and keep pursuing your vision. The fifth trait all great leaders share is the ability to think long-term while most people think short-term. Jobs thought about where technology was going in 5 to 10 years, not what was profitable next quarter. Musk thinks about where humanity needs to go in the next century, not what investors want this year. Bezos thinks about where customer needs will be in 10 years, not about quarterly earnings. This long-term thinking allows them to make decisions that seem wrong short-term but brilliant long-term. The sixth trait all great leaders share is willingness to embrace failure and learn from mistakes. Bezos explicitly tells employees, if you never fail, you're not trying hard enough. He encourages experimentation, even knowing that most experiments will fail. Musk blows up rockets on purpose to learn what works and what doesn't. This requires psychological security to take risks, knowing failure is possible and even likely. Most people avoid failure, so they never take big risks, so they never achieve big things. Great leaders reframe failure as learning and use mistakes as data to improve. The seventh trait all great leaders share is surrounding themselves with smart people who challenge them. Job said, "It doesn't make sense to hire smart people and tell them what to do. We hire smart people so they can tell us what to do." All three leaders surround themselves with brilliant people who question them, challenge them, and push back on their ideas. They create environments where the best ideas win, not where the boss is always right. This requires confidence strong enough that you don't feel threatened by smart people who disagree with you. Now here's what's fascinating. Most of these traits are psychological traits that you can develop yourself. You can develop obsession by finding something you care deeply about and pursuing it relentlessly. You can develop confidence in your judgment by making decisions, getting feedback, and learning from results. You can develop charisma by working on your communication, practicing storytelling, and developing authenticity. You can develop persistence by treating setbacks as learning rather than failure. You can develop long-term thinking by practicing patience and asking how decisions affect future outcomes. You can develop risk-taking by starting small and building confidence through experience. You can develop the ability to learn from failure by reframing mistakes as data. The psychological traits of great leaders are not innate talents that you either have or don't have. They are skills and mindsets that you can cultivate through practice, intention, and consistent effort. But here's the warning. Some of these traits, when taken to extremes, become destructive. Jobs, perfectionism, sometimes crossed into cruelty and unrealistic standards that hurt people. Musk's audacious goal-setting sometimes leads to overpromising and burning out teams. Bezos' relentless customer focus sometimes created pressure so intense that employees reported burnout. Excellence can turn into perfectionism that crushes people. Confidence can turn into arrogance that prevents learning. Persistence can turn into rigidity that prevents adaptation. Long-term thinking can turn into ignoring present needs. Risk-taking can turn into recklessness without planning. The greatest leaders understand the difference between these traits and their shadow sides. They develop excellence without crushing people with perfectionism. They develop confidence without arrogance. They develop persistence without rigidity. They balance long-term vision with present reality. They take calculated risks rather than reckless bets. Understanding the psychology of great leaders reveals that greatness is not mysterious or impossible. It's a combination of psychological traits that you can develop, cultivate, and strengthen. But it also reveals that greatness requires balance, excellence without perfectionism, confidence without arrogance, vision without delusion. The leaders who achieve extraordinary success are those who master this balance. The psychology of great leadership is about developing the right mindsets and then balancing them with wisdom. Start developing these traits today, and you'll be on your way to greatness.